What's up? It's Andy Grammer with Jag.
Hi, this is Carly Rae Jepsen, and you're listening to Jag.
Hey, everybody, it's Joe Jonas hanging with Jag.
This is Heather Knox with the hottest Jag I've ever seen.
Ryan Seacrest with Jag.
It's B.O.B. checking in with my homie Jag. So much swag with my homie Jag.
It's the Jag Show podcast.
Welcome in. I am John Jag Gay. Last Saturday and Sunday were the NFL's new expanded Super Wild Card weekend, featuring, much to the chagrin of my wife, 3 games each day. Now, while the NFL has had to adapt during COVID, so have the television networks. Due to coronavirus concerns, NBC's Mike Tirico did the play-by-play of Saturday's Tampa Bay Washington game from home in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Then, on Sunday afternoon, CBS's Tony Romo did the color commentary side from his home in Dallas. In both these cases, you had announcer teams in separate locations describing very fast action simultaneously. And I don't know about you, but I don't think either broadcast missed a beat. If they hadn't announced these setups in the pregame, I wouldn't have even known. So what does this have to do with your podcast? Well, if 2 broadcast partners can describe a football game from remote locations, you can easily do a high-quality podcast the same way. You may not have a national television network's budget, but there are now a number of different online recording platforms that'll record your audio on your local machine, free of internet buffering, then upload it to match your co-hosts. I've long been a user of Squadcast, but I also know folks who use Zencastr and others, and some folks still use Zoom. Now, I think of Zoom as a last resort, but some people are comfortable with it. If you're going to use Zoom, make sure you use the original sound option, and if you're going to edit the audio, be sure to record everyone on a separate track. You'll thank me later. For folks who want to record a video copy of their podcast as well, apps like StreamYard and Riverside are gaining popularity quickly, and Squadcast is rumored to be adding video later this month. Quick update, told you last week about Breaker joining Twitter. Now it turns out their team is, but the Breaker app itself has been acquired by Los Angeles-based Maple Media. All right, not a lot of short stories today. One more thing I want to close with. Podcasting is not a free-for-all. What you say and do, both on and off, quote-unquote, the air, have consequences. Of course, by now you've heard that YouTube banned Steve Bannon, and President Trump was kicked off basically every platform out there. This week, Cumulus Radio, one of the larger owners in the country, threatened to fire any talk show hosts that perpetuate misinformation about the 2020 presidential election. And the big drama in podcasting this week surrounds the team at The Daily from the New York Times. 2 years ago, they did a riveting miniseries released on Saturdays called Caliphate, which was the story of a radicalized Canadian-turned-ISIS fighter. The only thing wrong with the story, it wasn't real. In an interview published December 18th on Caliphate's podcast feed, Michael Barbaro sat down with the Times head honcho Dean Baquet, who said his organization was quote-unquote duped. The supposed ISIS fighter had made the whole story up, and the interview seemingly owned up to the Times' mistakes, explained what happened, and what they'll do better. I didn't hear that interview until this week, a month later. Why? Well, yes, it was in the Caliphate feed, but not in the Daily's feed, where Caliphate had been repeatedly promoted. Seems the Times wanted to create a little separation between the Daily and Caliphate, despite the fact that Caliphate was produced by the team at the Daily, which includes Lisa Tobin, now engaged to Michael Barbaro, and Andy Mills, who had a bevy of Me Too allegations levied against him in recent weeks. And perhaps most egregiously, there are reports from NPR of Michael Barbaro privately encouraging reporters to back off their stories on this big snafu. I once had a boss say, "You F up, you fess up." He didn't say F, but you get the idea. And while I still remain a huge fan of The Daily, it seems that they really missed the mark here. Again, your behavior matters. Got the NPR story linked in today's show notes. If you'd like help with your podcast, I can record audio for you, I can edit audio for you, and I've now added video recording to my services. You can check them all out from the link in the show notes. As always, stay healthy, stay safe, and I will talk to you next week. Later.
Thanks for listening to the Jag Show podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe in Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. For help with your podcast, find Jag on social media at Jag in Detroit or on the web at jagindetroit.com.